Hey there, welcome to a wild ride where we're diving deep into something you might not think about every day, your blood type. Yeah, those two little letters on your medical records, like A, B, AB, or O. Have you ever stopped to wonder if they're more than just a label? What if your blood type is like a hidden map, a symbolic guide to who you are at your core? Shi Heng Yi, a modern voice echoing the depth of Jungian psychology, would say the most powerful insights are often tucked away in the simplest things, like the blood pumping through your veins. Picture this, your blood isn't just keeping you alive, it's whispering ancient secrets about your instincts, your personality, maybe even your destiny. Ready to explore where biology meets the soul? Let's crack open the blood code and see what it reveals. Shi Heng Yi, a master of blending mindfulness with human psychology, believe that our bodies and minds are deeply connected, each reflecting the other in ways we don't always notice. Your blood type? It's not just a medical fact, it's a symbol, a mirror of your inner world, tied to what he'd call the collective unconscious, that deep well of instincts and archetypes we all share. Across cultures, blood has always been sacred. Think of ancient rituals, myths, or even family ties passed down through generations. It's the stuff of life, carrying not just oxygen but stories, passions, and maybe even a hint of your purpose. In Japan, they've got this concept called Ketsuekigata, where your blood type is like a personality blueprint. It's not hard science, but it's a fascinating mix of biology and myth that feels very much in line with Shi Heng Yi's ideas about finding meaning in the everyday. So, what's your blood type saying about you? Is it a quiet nudge toward understanding why you connect with some people instantly while others feel like strangers? Or why certain challenges keep showing up, like your blood's trying to tell you something? Let's start this journey with Type A, the meticulous architects of society, and see what their blood reveals. Type A, the meticulous architects of society. If you've got Type A blood, there's a good chance you're the kind of person who notices the details others miss. You're not just organizing your desk or color-coding your calendar, though, let's be real, you probably do that like a pro. It's deeper than that. Shi Heng Yi might say you're channeling the archetype of the sage, someone driven to bring order to the chaos of life. There's a quiet power in you, a need to make sense of the world, to create structure where things feel messy. Ever find yourself straightening a crooked picture frame or rethinking a plan until it's just right? That's not just a quirk, it's your soul's way of finding peace through precision. In Shi Heng Yi's view, this isn't random. It's an ancient instinct, a drive to carve out safety and meaning in a world that can feel unpredictable. You see possibilities where others see confusion, paths waiting to be mapped out. At work, you're the one who spots the typo in the report, catches the flaw in the plan, or remembers the detail everyone else forgot. It's like your mind is wired to refine, to perfect, to make things better. Shi Heng Yi would call this your dominant function, your natural gift for careful, methodical attention. It's a superpower that earns you trust, even if you're not shouting about it. But here's the flip side, and Shi Heng Yi was big on facing the shadows of our strengths. For Type A folks, that shadow can show up as anxiety. The need for things to be just right can weigh heavy. You might catch yourself overthinking, turning that sharp, critical eye inward, becoming your own toughest critic. Ever feel drained by the pressure to get it perfect? That's the perfectionist archetype at work, a double-edged sword. The same care that makes you brilliant can also stress you out. Shi Heng Yi would say the key is integration. Don't ditch your standards, but give yourself the same grace you give others. Acknowledge that shadow, and it starts to lose its grip. In relationships, Type A folks are the loyal ones, the rocks people lean on. You're not here for shallow connections. Once you're in, through thick and thin. That loyalty comes from your need for stability, for relationships that feel as ordered as the rest of your world. But Shi Heng Yi would warn that this can come at a cost. You might give so much to keep the peace that you forget to speak your truth. Your challenge is to make sure your voice is part of the harmony you're so good at creating. You probably hate small talk, don't you? It's draining. You want conversations that dig deep, that explore big ideas or hidden truths. Shi Heng Yi would see this as your introverted side shining through, always chasing the essence of things, not just the surface. Inside, you're constantly refining, tweaking, perfecting, not out of restlessness, but because you're curious. How can this be better? How can I understand this more? It's the quiet fire of the sage, always learning, always seeking. Type A folks often end up in careers where precision is king. Think research, editing, management, medicine, or law. But it's not about the job, it's about the energy you bring. Shi Heng Yi would say your blood type isn't a box, it's a mirror, reflecting your unique way of moving through the world. It doesn't limit you, it shows you who you are. And in that reflection, you find the freedom to become exactly who you're meant to be. Before we dive into the next blood type, I want to share something cool. If you're curious about how your blood type ties into your inner world, check out our ebook, The Sim Method. It's packed with insights inspired by Shi Heng Yi's teachings to help you connect the dots between your biology and your destiny. The link's in the pinned comment below, go grab it. That's it for Type A, ready to explore the next blood type and what it says about you? Let me know, and we'll dive into Type B, the intuitive explorers of the unknown. Type B, the intuitive explorers of the unknown. Alright, let's keep this journey rolling and dive into the world of Type B blood. If you're Type B, you're part of a rarer crew, and there's something electric about the energy you bring. Shi Heng Yi, with his knack for uncovering the deeper currents of human nature, might see you as embodying the archetype of the explorer or the rebel, a soul driven by curiosity and a hunger for freedom. Unlike the structured precision of Type A, you've got this natural fluidity, a way of dancing between ideas, experiences, and worlds that feels almost effortless. So, what's the story your blood is telling? Let's find out. Type B folks are wired for discovery. You're not one to stay comfortable in the familiar for too long, routine can feel like a cage. Ever notice how you light up when something new catches your eye? Maybe it's a new hobby, a spontaneous trip, or just a random idea that sparks your imagination. That's not just wanderlust, it's your soul nudging you toward the uncharted. Shi Heng Yi would say this is the explorer archetype at work, a deep instinct to push boundaries and see what's out there. In Japan's Ketsuekigata theory, Type B folks are described as creative, passionate, and fiercely independent, traits that line up perfectly with this restless, vibrant spirit. In relationships, you bring a raw honesty that's refreshing. You don't have time for games or fake smiles, you want the real deal, and you're not afraid to show your true self either. Shi Heng Yi might call this your transcendent function, your ability to bridge opposites and find connections where others see only differences. You've got a knack for weaving together ideas that don't seem to fit, creating insights that surprise people. In a world that often feels stuck in black and white thinking, you're living in full color, seeing the shades in between. Professionally, you thrive in spaces where creativity and adaptability are king. You're the one who spots the bigger picture, who's not afraid to switch gears when a better path opens up. Shi Heng Yi would call this psychological flexibility, a willingness to evolve instead of clinging to one rigid way of being. Whether you're in the arts, entrepreneurship, or any field that rewards bold ideas, your ability to pivot and innovate makes you stand out. You're not just following the script, you're writing a new one. But, like always, there's a shadow to this strength. Shi Heng Yi was all about facing those hidden sides of ourselves. For Type B, that shadow can look like restlessness. The thrill of the new can make it hard to stick with things long enough to see them through. Ever start a project with a burst of excitement, only to feel the itch for something else before it's done? That's the explorer's challenge. Shi Heng Yi would say it's not about stopping your wandering spirit but learning when to pause, when to commit. In relationships, this might show up as a hesitation to be tied down. You crave deep connections, but only if they give you room to breathe. That's not a flaw, it's just your truth. Love, like life, has to feel like a journey, not a destination. Shi Heng Yi would probably be fascinated by how you handle rules. Let's be real, you don't just follow them blindly. Rules are suggestions, not chains. You get that life's too messy to fit into one box, and your spirit refuses to be contained. This makes you a natural bridge between worlds. You can take the rigid structures of a Type A mindset and infuse them with color and possibility. You're a connector, a spark of creativity in a world that sometimes forgets how to play. But this independence can feel lonely at times, like you're always moving on while others settle down. Shi Heng Yi would remind you that this isn't a weakness, it's a calling. Your path isn't about blending in, it's about blazing your own trail. If you're Type B, your journey is about honoring that restless curiosity while finding moments to ground yourself. Shi Heng Yi would call this your individuation process, your unique path to wholeness. It's not about fitting into someone else's mold, it's about discovering where your creativity and passion meet your deepest truths. You're the explorer, the innovator, the one who reminds us there's always something new to find, even in the familiar. Your blood doesn't define you, but it does hint at the energy you bring, an energy that can shake things up, heal what's stuck, and light the way for others to dream bigger. Before we move on, if you're loving this dive into how your blood type might reflect your inner world, you'll want to check out our ebook, The Sim Method. It's a guide to exploring these patterns through Shi Heng Yi's lens, helping you connect the dots between your biology and your purpose. The link's in the pinned comment below, go take a look. That's Type B in all its vibrant, untamed glory. Ready to explore the next blood type, Type AB, and their enigmatic duality? Just let me know, and we'll keep going. Type AB, the enigmatic carriers of duality. Alright, let's dive into the fascinating world of Type AB blood. If you're Type AB, you're part of a rare group. Only about 4% of the world's population shares this blood type. There's something uniquely complex about you, and Shi Heng Yi, with his deep understanding of human nature, might see you as embodying the archetype of the diplomat or mediator. Your blood type is special not just biologically but symbolically, carrying both A and B antigens. It's like your veins are wired for duality, reflecting a profound ability to navigate opposites. Ready to unpack what this means for you? Let's go. Shi Heng Yi would likely be intrigued by how Type AB folk seem to hold multiple truths at once. Ever feel like you're playing different roles depending on the situation? One moment you're the planner, the next you're the dreamer, and somehow you make it all work. This isn't inconsistency, it's what Shi Heng Yi might call the conjunctio oppositorum, the blending of opposites that leads to wholeness. Your blood type mirrors this, carrying both A and B markers, like a biological nod to your ability to balance contradictions. In Japan's Ketsuekigata theory, Type ABs are described as thoughtful, enigmatic, and complex, qualities that vibe perfectly with the mediator archetype. You've probably noticed you can see both sides of an argument without needing to pick one right away. It's like your mind is a bridge, connecting ideas that others see as clashing. Shi Heng Yi would call this a strong perceiving function, a gift for holding complexity without rushing to simplify it. You're not indecisive, you're just wired to understand nuance. This makes you a natural at navigating tricky social situations. You can shift your vibe depending on who you're with, not because you're faking it, but because you instinctively know what the moment needs. It's psychological flexibility, and it's one of your superpowers. In relationships, you're the listener, the empath, the one people turn to when they need someone who gets it. Shi Heng Yi might see this as your feeling function shining through, a deep ability to tune into others' emotions and respond with genuine care. You're like an emotional translator, making sense of messy feelings and helping people find common ground. But this sensitivity can be a lot. Sometimes you soak up everyone else's emotions like a sponge, carrying their weight along with your own. That's the mediator's challenge, staying connected without losing yourself in the process. Professionally, you're a creative problem solver. You don't just think in straight lines, you see connections others miss, pulling together different ideas to create something fresh. Shi Heng Yi would call this active imagination, your mind's knack for thinking beyond rigid structures. Whether you're in mediation, education, creative work, or cross-cultural roles, your ability to handle paradox and build bridges makes you invaluable. Your decision-making isn't just about facts, it's about the emotional and relational vibes beneath them. To some, this might seem slow, but it's really about depth, ensuring your choices align with who you are. But here's the shadow side, and Shi Heng Yi was all about facing those. For type ABs, the shadow can show up as indecision or feeling lost in too many perspectives. Your chameleon-like adaptability is a gift, but it can make it hard to pin down your own core. Ever struggle to know what you really want because you're so good at seeing everyone else's side? Shi Heng Yi would say this is the introversion of your intuitive function, an inward exploration that's rich with insight but can tip into overthinking if unchecked. The key is balance. Use your adaptability as a strength, but carve out time to connect with your own truth. You might also feel like you don't fit neatly into any one box. Others seem to have clear labels: leader, dreamer, planner, but you? You're a bit of everything. This can feel isolating, but Shi Heng Yi would call it a gift. You're a bridge between worlds, able to translate and connect in ways others can't. As you grow, you'll likely find this complexity becomes less of a burden and more of a strength. Shi Heng Yi would see this as individuation, your journey toward embracing all the facets of your psyche, even the ones that don't fit a single mold. One of the coolest things about Type AB is your comfort with paradox. In a world that loves black and white answers, you're okay with ambiguity, and that's rare. Shi Heng Yi would remind you that your blood type doesn't lock you into a destiny, it's just a pattern, a starting point. The real work is exploring these tendencies consciously, honoring what feels natural while recognizing when they hold you back. Your Type AB blood whispers of duality and complexity, but your choices, your willingness to embrace your contradictions, shape who you become. If you're hooked on this idea of blood types revealing your inner world, you'll love our ebook, The Sim Method. It's a deep dive into these patterns through Shi Heng Yi's lens, guiding you to connect your biology with your purpose. The link's in the pinned comment, check it out. That's Type AB, with all its enigmatic depth. Ready to move on to Type O, the primordial warriors of the collective unconscious? Just let me know, and we'll keep this journey going. Type O, the primordial warriors of the collective unconscious. Alright, let's dive into the world of Type O blood, the most common blood type globally, carried by about 45% of people. If you're Type O, there's a raw, instinctual energy flowing through you, and Shi Heng Yi, with his deep insight into human nature, might see you as embodying the archetype of the warrior or hero. This is the kind of energy that steps up when others hesitate, that thrives on action and clarity. Your blood type isn't just a medical marker, it's a symbolic link to the primal roots of humanity. Ready to explore what this means for you? Let's jump in. Type O is considered the original human blood type, the one all others evolved from, and Shi Heng Yi would likely find that deeply significant. It ties you to the earliest instincts of our species: survival, courage, and the drive to act. Ever notice how you're the first to step up in a crisis? Or how you seem to know exactly what to do when others are frozen? That's not recklessness, it's the warrior archetype moving through you, guided by a gut-level compass that cuts through doubt. In Japan's Ketsuekigata theory, Type O folks are described as confident, resilient, and natural leaders, qualities that echo this heroic energy, the kind of person who faces challenges head-on and inspires others to follow. Shi Heng Yi might say your strength lies in your judging function, your ability to size up a situation fast and act decisively. You don't always need a detailed plan because your instincts are sharp, and more often than not, they're right. This makes you a force in high-pressure moments. Whether it's a deadline at work or a real emergency, you're already moving while others are still thinking. That perseverance, that refusal to back down, would fascinate Shi Heng Yi. It's not about being stubborn, it's about a deep drive to overcome obstacles and make things happen. In relationships, you bring a straightforwardness that's like a breath of fresh air. Shi Heng Yi might call this your thinking-sensing axis, a clarity that's sometimes blunt but always honest. You don't sugarcoat things, and that builds trust. People know where they stand with you. You're not out here playing the hero in a dramatic way, but your instinct to protect and take action makes you the one others turn to when things get tough. Whether it's standing up for a friend or diving in to solve a problem, you've got this natural pull to keep things moving forward. But, as Shi Heng Yi would point out, every strength has its shadow. For Type O, that shadow can show up as impatience or a sharp edge when you're feeling stuck. Ever get frustrated when things aren't moving fast enough or when you're forced to sit still? That's what Shi Heng Yi might call the extroversion of your sensing function, an outward, action-driven energy that's powerful but can tip into impulsiveness if not balanced. You might overlook nuances or subtleties in your rush to act, and that's where growth comes in. Shi Heng Yi would say it's about integrating that warrior energy with a touch of patience, learning to pause and see the bigger picture. Professionally, you're a natural in roles that demand leadership and quick decisions. Think emergency response, sports, business strategy, or anything where fast, confident action is key. Shi Heng Yi would see this as your core psychological tendency, cutting through chaos and inspiring others to move. Your decision-making is practical, almost primal. You see the clearest path forward without getting lost in overthinking, and that's a gift. Shi Heng Yi might describe this as your sensing thinking axis, a kind of instinctual intelligence that knows what needs to be done without needing a long explanation. You've probably got an interesting relationship with tradition and innovation. You respect what's worked before, but if it's not cutting it anymore, you're ready to break the mold. Shi Heng Yi would see this as a balance between the collective unconscious, the wisdom of the past, and your individual spark. Just do it probably hits harder for you than anyone else, and that's no accident. It's the warrior archetype in action, knowing that sometimes action itself brings clarity where endless debate fails. But here's where it gets tricky. Stress for Type O folks often kicks in when you're forced to slow down or deal with overly abstract, complex situations. Shi Heng Yi might say this is your inferior function, the part of you that's less comfortable, reacting to being pushed out of your action-oriented zone. Your growth lies in learning to tolerate ambiguity, to balance your drive with moments of reflection. It's not about losing your edge, it's about adding depth to it. Interestingly, many Type O folks find they get more patient with age, more open to complexity. Shi Heng Yi would call this the natural maturing of your psyche, a step toward wholeness. Your ability to rally others is one of your greatest gifts. In a world that can get stuck in analysis paralysis, your clarity and decisiveness are like a lifeline. But Shi Heng Yi would remind you to temper that with self-awareness. The goal isn't to be the perfect warrior, it's to be your whole, authentic self, someone who can lead with confidence but also listen deeply, act decisively but stay open to vulnerability. Your Type O blood carries echoes of ancient instincts, but it's your choices that shape your path. If you're loving this deep dive into how your blood type reflects your inner world, check out our ebook, The Sim Method. It's packed with insights inspired by Shi Heng Yi to help you connect your biology to your purpose. The link's in the pinned comment, go take a look. That's Type O, with all its primal power. Ready to explore the RH factor and its hidden signature in your inner world? Let me know, and we'll keep going. The RH factor, the hidden signature of your inner world. Alright, we've explored the 4 main blood types, but there's another layer to this story that's often overlooked, the RH factor. Whether you're RH positive or RH negative, this subtle detail in your blood adds a fascinating twist to the symbolic map of who you are. Shi Heng Yi, with his knack for finding meaning in the smallest details, would likely see the RH factor as a kind of hidden signature, a quiet clue about how you navigate your individuality and your place in the world. It's not just a medical marker, it's a whisper of your unique energy. Let's dive into what this means and how it shapes your journey. First off, let's break it down. The RH factor, named after the rhesus monkey where it was first studied, is that little plus or minus sign next to your blood type, like A+, B-, or O+. Most people, about 85% of the population, are RH positive, meaning their red blood cells carry a specific protein. Rh-negative folks, the rarer 15%, don't have this protein. While this is critical for things like blood transfusions or pregnancy, Shi Heng Yi might look at it through a symbolic lens, seeing it as a reflection of your psychological and spiritual wiring. It's not about defining you, it's about offering a glimpse into the archetypes that resonate with your soul. If you're Rh positive, you're part of the majority, and there's a natural energy of connection flowing through you. Shi Heng Yi might link this to the archetype of the caregiver or the everyman, figures who find purpose in community, in belonging, in weaving bonds that hold people together. You likely have an instinctive ease with fitting in, not in a conformist way, but in a way that makes you feel at home in a group. Ever notice how you gravitate toward building bridges, creating harmony, or just being the glue in your friend group or workplace? That's the caregiver archetype at work, a quiet drive to nurture and unite. This doesn't mean you're always the loudest in the room, sometimes it's the opposite. Your strength lies in your ability to find common ground, to make others feel seen and included. Shi Heng Yi would say this reflects a deep connection to the collective unconscious, that shared reservoir of human experience that binds us all. Your Rh-positive blood might symbolize a natural alignment with the tribe, a sense that your purpose is tied to supporting and uplifting those around you. In relationships, you're often the one who checks in, who remembers the little things, who keeps the group steady. At work, you might shine in roles that involve collaboration, caregiving, or community building, think teaching, social work, or team leadership. But, as Shi Heng Yi would remind us, every archetype has its shadow. For Rh-positive folks, this can show up as a tendency to prioritize the group over your own needs. Ever find yourself saying yes to everyone else's requests, only to realize you're stretched too thin? That's the caregiver's shadow, losing yourself in the act of giving. Shi Heng Yi would encourage you to balance this by setting boundaries, making sure your own voice isn't drowned out by the needs of the collective. It's about honoring your instinct to connect while also carving out space for your individuality. Now, if you're Rh-negative, you're part of a rarer group, and there's a different energy at play. Shi Heng Yi might see you as embodying the archetype of the hermit or the seer, someone who draws strength from solitude, intuition, and a unique perspective. You might feel a subtle distance from the crowd, not because you reject it, but because you see things from a different angle. Ever have moments where you feel like you're on the outside looking in, picking up on truths others miss? That's the seer's gift, a knack for seeing beyond the surface, for forging paths that aren't obvious to everyone else. This doesn't mean you're antisocial, far from it. Many Rh-negative folks are deeply connected to others, but there's often a sense of being a little apart, like you're carrying a vision that's uniquely yours. Shi Heng Yi would tie this to the idea of individuation, your journey toward embracing your distinct perspective while still finding ways to engage with the world. In relationships, you might be the one who brings fresh insights, who asks the big questions, who helps others see things in a new light. Professionally, you could thrive in roles that reward independent thinking or intuition, think writing, research, or innovation-driven fields. The shadow for Rh-negative folks, as Shi Heng Yi might point out, can be a sense of isolation or feeling misunderstood. Your unique vantage point is a strength, but it can sometimes leave you feeling like you don't fully belong. The challenge is to embrace your outsider energy while finding ways to connect without losing yourself. Shi Heng Yi would say it's about integration, honoring your intuitive, solitary side while staying open to the community around you. Whether you're Rh positive or negative, Shi Heng Yi would emphasize that these are not fixed destinies. Your Rh factor is like a starting point, a subtle nudge towards certain patterns. The real work lies in listening to these patterns and deciding how to live them out. Are you Rh positive, leaning into your role as a connector, but learning to protect your own space? Or are you Rh negative, embracing your visionary perspective while finding ways to share it with others? Either way, your blood is whispering something about your journey, it's up to you to decide what to do with it. This layer of the Rh factor adds depth to the story of your blood type, whether you're A, B, AB, or O. It's like a hidden note in the symphony of who you are, offering clues about how you balance your individuality with your place in the collective. Shi Heng Yi would see this as part of your path to wholeness, a reminder that even the smallest details, like a plus or minus sign, can hold profound meaning. If you're fascinated by how your blood type and Rh factor might reflect your inner world, you'll love our ebook, The Sim Method. It dives deeper into these patterns through Shi Heng Yi's lens, helping you connect your biology to your purpose. The link's in the pinned comment, go check it out. That's the Rh factor, adding a new dimension to your blood story. Ready to wrap this up with the final pieces of the puzzle and see how it all comes together? The Blood Code, Awakening Your Inner Truth. Welcome back to the final stop on this incredible journey through the mysteries of your blood. We've explored the 4 blood types, A, B, AB, and O, each with its unique archetypal energy, from the meticulous sage to the primal warrior. We've also uncovered the hidden signature of the Rh factor, whispering clues about how you balance individuality and connection. Now, it's time to tie it all together and ask, what does this mean for you? Shi Heng Yi, with his profound insight into the human soul, would say your blood type isn't just a medical detail, it's an invitation to awaken, to listen to the oldest parts of yourself, and to shape your own destiny. Let's wrap this up and see how you can carry these insights forward. Your blood, that quiet river flowing through your veins, is more than biology. It's a symbolic thread connecting you to the collective unconscious, that deep well of instincts, archetypes, and shared human experience. Shi Heng Yi would remind us that symbols, like your blood type or Rh factor, only gain power when you engage with them. They're not here to box you in or dictate your life. They're keys, unlocking doors to a deeper understanding of who you are and who you can become. Whether you're type A, striving for order, type B, chasing the unknown, type AB, embracing duality, or type O, charging forward with warrior energy, your blood is whispering something unique. The question is, are you ready to listen? Shi Heng Yi's teachings often center on the idea of individuation, the journey to become your most authentic, integrated self. Your blood type and Rh factor offer a starting point, a map of tendencies that might feel natural to you. Maybe you're Rh positive, drawn to community and caregiving, or Rh negative, with a visionary spark that sets you apart. Maybe you're a type A perfectionist, a type B explorer, or a type AB mediator. These patterns don't limit you, they reveal you. They show you the strengths you can lean into, the shadows you can work with, and the possibilities waiting for you to claim them. But here's the real magic, it's not about the type you were given, it's about the meaning you create from it. Shi Heng Yi would say the true power lies in your choices. Will you let your blood type define you, or will you use it as a tool to grow? If you're type A, can you embrace your precision while giving yourself room to breathe? If you're type B, can you chase your curiosity while learning to commit when it matters? If you're type AB, can you honor your complexity without getting lost in it? And if you're type O, can you lead with courage while making space for nuance? Your blood might carry ancient whispers, but your actions shape the story. This journey isn't about finding a perfect label or fitting neatly into an archetype. It's about seeing yourself more clearly, your gifts, your challenges, your potential. Shi Heng Yi would call this waking up to your inner truth, recognizing that every part of you, from your blood to your soul, is part of a bigger dance. Your blood type and Rh factor are like notes in that dance, guiding you toward wholeness. They don't tell you who you have to be, they remind you who you can be when you live consciously, with intention and courage. So, what's next? Take a moment to reflect. What resonated with you in this exploration? Maybe it's the idea that your type B restlessness is a call to explore, or that your type O decisiveness is a warrior's strength. Maybe it's the realization that your Rh negative perspective is a gift, not a burden. Whatever it is, let it spark something. Shi Heng Yi would encourage you to act on it, maybe through journaling, meditation, or just a quiet moment to ask yourself, what's my blood whispering to me, and how can I live it out? This isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning. Your blood type is a doorway, not a destination. It's an invitation to dig deeper, to explore the patterns that shape you, and to decide how you'll weave them into your life. Shi Heng Yi would say the real work is in the living, showing up each day, embracing your strengths, facing your shadows, and trusting that every step is bringing you closer to your truest self. Your blood doesn't define you, but it does awaken you. It reminds you that you're part of something ancient, something vast, and yet, your path is entirely your own. If this dive into your blood's mysteries has you curious for more, don't miss our ebook, The Sim Method. It's a guide to exploring these archetypes and patterns through Shi Heng Yi's lens, helping you connect your biology to your purpose. The link's in the pinned comment below, go grab it and keep this journey going. Before we close, I want to hear from you. What's your blood type, and what did you discover about yourself today? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep the conversation alive. If you love this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next. Your blood's got a story to tell, and I'm here to help you uncover it. Until next time, keep listening to those whispers within you, they're leading you exactly where you're meant to go. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.